Act on lie according Tothet maxim were. By you can at the same time with that it should become universal law. Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play. To things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe, the starry heavens above me and the moral law within me. Out of timber so crooked as that from which man is made, nothing entirely straight can be carved. Science is organized knowledge, wisdom is organized life. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. Morality is not the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Dare to know, have the courage to use your own understanding. Man must be disciplined, for he is by natural and wild. In law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. It is beyond a doubt that a lower knowledge begins with experience. We can judgeth heart of almond by his treatment of animals. The greatest achievement is to have lived well, and acted rightly in the service of a noble ideal. The death of dogma is the birth of morality. He who is cruel to animals becomes also in his dealings with men. All thought must, directly or indirectly, by way is certain, characters relate ultimately to intuitions, and therefore, with us, to sensibility, because in no other way can an object be given to us. So act that your principle of action might safely be made a law for the whole world. We can judgeth hard of a man by his treatment of women. From such crooked wood as that witchman is made of, nothing straight can be fashioned. Science is organized knowledge, wisdom is organized life. The only objects of practical reason are there for those of good and evil, for by the former is not an object necessarily desired, according to a principle of reason, by the latter, one necessarily shunned, also according to a principle of reason. Religion is too important a matter to its devotees to be a subject of ridicule if they indulge in absurdities. They are to be pitied rather than ridiculed. Experience is the mother of all knowledge. Wisdom is the daughter of experience. Do what is right, though the world may perish. All the interests of me reason, speculative as well as practical, combine in the three following questions. 1. What can I know? 2. What ought I to do? 3. What may I hope? The human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked, who really know how bad it is. The problem of organizing the ideal state is a moral problem. How can the coexistence of human beings be made to harmonize with greatest possible degree of freedom? From the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. It is not God's will merely that we should be happy, but that we should make ourselves happy. It is not necessary that whilst I live happily. Dude, it is necessary that so long as I live, I should live honorably. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. An action done from duty derives its moral worth, not from the purpose thought is to be attained by it, but from the maxim by which it is determined, and therefore does not depend on the realization of the object of the action, but merely on the principle of volition by which the action has taken place. To be is to do. A categorical imperative would be one which represented an action as objective or necessary in itself, without reference to any other purpose. Happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. The science of metaphysics is more difficult and also more important than any other science. Always recognizeth that human individuals are reins, and do notice them as mere means to your end. Ingratitude is the essence of vileness. Act as if the maxim of your action were to become through your will a universal of nature. It is not our job to speculate about God, but to do what is in our power to alleviate suffering of our fellow creatures. Even philosophers will praise war assembling mankind, forgetting the Greek who said, "War is bad in that it begets more evil than it kills." The only true moral obligation that human beings can have is to be the moral law. To be human is to be rational. The public use of man's reason must always be free, and it alone can bring about enlightenment in men. Morality is not doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but of how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. It is not an auto-do code. One must do it the right way. Thoughts without content are empty. Intuitions without concepts are blind. Live your life as though your every act were to become a universal law. What can I know? What ought I to do? What may I hope? An idea is always a dangerous spasms without a definite form. The human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is,